Huh? Hey, this is Elliot from Good Tiger, and you're watching Bloodline.
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? We are sitting in the Tesseract tour bus right now, which I am blessed and grateful to be in, outside Irving Plaza for the last day of the Tesseract tour. And of course, I'm sitting next to Dan Tompkins of Tesseract. Dan, how you doing today?
Very well, thank you. Very tired. It's the last show of the Sonder World Tour. Well, Sonder US run anyway. Yeah, good.
Well, congratulations on the release of Sonder.
Thanks.
It's a phenomenal album, phenomenal record. Could you talk to us about the writing process, once the Polaris cycle came to a close?
Yeah, absolutely. We took a bit of time off and then started to write about a year and a half ago. We approached it slightly differently. Normally it's Ackle, who's the main guitarist and songwriter producer. He would normally create large bodies of music and then pass it on to myself to do my bit. This time around we wanted it to be more cohesive. We wanted everyone to be involved, so we started to create small 30-second to minute ideas, and from that moment we all got involved. James, the second guitarist, he's created ideas. Moss has created ideas, so has Jay. Yeah, it's been a much more cohesive process overall, even from the perspective of when we initially wrote a small idea, we would give it a name and some kind of identity, some theme or concept, just so everyone could be involved from a holistic perspective. So, yeah, and it's been we did have a lot of disruptions when we were supposed to be writing and recording. Things like Megadeth approached us and asked us to tour.
Yeah, I remember that.
We're not gonna not do that.
Exactly.
So
that was last summer, I believe.
That's right. Yeah.
Last summer.
And that, amongst other things, meant that we were kind of like pushed back constantly until we had a hard deadline and we had to meet it. So it was all systems go. But it's been a really interesting process. We've started to approach it slightly differently in terms of the initial ideas as well, by taking clips of film, stripping away the audio and creating new audio to what we were visually stimulated by. So that was quite interesting. In fact, Beneath My Skin is a good example of that, where the end product is a very sweeping, constantly changing mood.
Yeah, Sonder is a definitely edgier album, at least in my opinion, from Polaris. Polaris is still up there as one of my top favorite albums. I absolutely love it, and you go from songs like Cages and Tourniquet and Hexes and Phoenix to right into songs like Beneath My Skin and Smile and Juno and King, and of course Luminary. There's a massive change in there, but a very edgy change, and it's very welcoming. I enjoy it personally. Yeah,
we wanted to take an element from each album and create it into what I refer to as like a hybrid Tesseract sound, if you like. It's definitely a progression. I mean, I'm very excited to see where it takes us in the future.
Oh, I am too. And now that you're back with Tesseract full time, what's your approach with performing vocals, done by Ashe O'Hara and even Elliot Coleman?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with I guess Elliot's time in the band is he didn't really get a chance to put his voice to new music, so he was doing his interpretation over my ideas, if you like, and that kind of happened with me and Ashe. Obviously, I completely empathise with people that really are attached to their album. You hear someone's voice at a particular time in life with amazing music, and it becomes part of your, it's locked and ingrained in your memory, and it's hard to accept change when it comes to changing that sonic aspect of a vocalist over your favourite songs. So on one hand, I can really empathise with people, but on the flip side, that's now part of my life. I have to attach myself to that music as well, and I've tried to do it in my way. There's no point in trying to replicate what Ashe did, because he was a completely different vocalist. Yeah. So I bring a different twist on things with that live. I do my own interpretation, and yeah, it works well. I love the songs. I love every Tesseract song, and I put my all into it.
And there's a complete spectrum, between you and Ashe. And it's funny enough because I saw Tesseract here with Ashe at Irving during his tenure, and now I'm seeing you at Irving here. Even though I did see you at Terminal 5 with Gojira. Yeah, I was in the photo pit shooting that show. Nice. So it comes around full circle for me personally, as someone who knows the spectrum between Ashe and his background work and your work and your background.
I mean, I've been on 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 6 releases or 7 releases that Tesseract have put out, so that's a big body of work. It just so happens that there was a disruptive period that kind of like muddied the water a little bit, but ever since being back since Polaris and doing Sonder, touring the worldwide over the past 4 years or so, we're solid. We're a solid unit. We never stopped being friends from the moment that I parted ways for a little bit, then came back again. It was all very natural. We've got a great writing process. We've got a good vision, a long-term goal. So now it's just all systems go.
Yeah,
great.
It shows off in every album that has been out. That long-term goal, and having you with one in 2011, and and then freaking Vocalist and Sonder. It's there. That's why I can't stop seeing you perform at shows. I'm always going to be a Tesseract fan because of that long-term goal and that vision.
The great thing about it is that Tesseract's growth has just been on a steady gradient, so it means that every time we come around, not only are we bringing new songs, but we're bringing new production, and we're bringing a new twist on the live side of it as well. So it's exciting in a live context, and it's also exciting on a record context because we're constantly evolving and changing.
Yeah, the live show is always the best, at least to me. I mean, I can always listen to the album, but once you see it live, the perspective. Yeah,
we have a great team when it comes to the live side of things. So Aidan, our front of house engineer, who's also a second producer within Tesseract, and Mike St. John, who was previously of the Devin Townsend project. He's an absolutely phenomenal lighting engineer, and together we just have this great working relationship, and it really shows. I think you'll really enjoy tonight's show.
I can. And so let's talk about your YouTube channel. Of course, you've garnered a lot of viewers on your vocal tutorials online, and you also do vocal coaching, and you also do some of that stuff on tour as well. Am I correct?
You are correct, yeah.
So how has the reception been for that?
I mean, the YouTube channel is actually pretty neglected. I should probably put more effort into that.
You have around 16,000 subscribers on there, so and that's a lot of material. I mean, there's material from Sky Harbor, there's material from
there's bits and bobs. I mean, I've got bigger plans. I mean, I would like to do live sing-throughs of all my songs, but it's just time constraints. But I mean, the vocal coaching is doing really well. I've been doing it for several years now. I've been learning from some amazing studies and some great vocal coaches. One in particular on this tour, who's Justin Timberlake's vocal coach, and Pharrell Williams. I've been spending a lot of time with her. Her name's Mindy Pack, and she helped me through a bit of a rough patch on this tour where I actually lost my voice, had laryngitis.
Yes, you had laryngitis. I think it was the middle of April.
It was the Phoenix show that I had to miss out on, but that was the one show that I missed, and with her help and Reena Gupta, who is a voice doctor in LA, we managed to get through a very rough patch, and I never missed another show. So I mean, the vocal coaching thing is it's one of these things where you never stop learning, and a lot of professionals are going to say that you never shut yourself off from liaising and collaborating.
Well, of course with the liaising and the collaborating, but also you see a lot of other perspectives of different singers that you coach, or even people that just cover your songs on YouTube. You see all that stuff, so I take it as the experience is all there. You're able
experience counts for a great deal, for sure. Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people out there, making a lot of simple mistakes that can be easily corrected. Don't get me wrong, I still make mistakes. Every singer is going to make. We're only human.
Nobody's perfect.
So nobody's perfect.
It's true. As a seasoned vocalist, what would be your best advice to local musicians, local singers?
You've really got to learn your craft and take criticism seriously. don't take it lightly. If someone gives you a bit of crit, take a step back, view your performances from YouTube and see things from the crowd perspective, and be realistic, you know. But also you've got to have faith in your own ability, and you've got to have confidence, and you've got to persevere, because it's I'll be very honest, over the past 15 years I've had such tremendous highs and lows as an artist. You've got to develop a very thick skin.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, you know, I look at the entertainment industry as, you know, everyone's on the same spectrum with their different types of art, you know, photographers, videographers, musicians, you know, guitar players. And if you're not able to take criticism, then there's no point in you being in this business, because you have to constantly evolve, and you have to constantly, you know, learn and adapt. And you know, I see it from, you know, watching cover songs, and even myself being a singer sometimes. You know, I'm not that one that's, you know, singing in the shower, but you know, I will enjoy a tune every now and then, and I'll critique myself and learn. So you know, it's just coming from someone of your caliber with all of these fans and all these people. You know, it's a lot to take in. I can imagine.
Yeah, and you know, to be at this position that we're all in, we've had to make some incredible sacrifices and make, you know, hard decisions that affect everybody. You know, not just yourself, but you know, our families and friends and fans and the industry. You know, it's you have to persevere. You know, but don't get me wrong, the high times are amazing, but the lows, you know, they can be pretty you know, pretty hard to deal with. So.
Yes, no, I agree. I understand that. I agree with that. And you know, speaking of vocal, what is your go-to for equipment when it comes to the recording process and even the live performances?
I have very minimal gear, to be honest with you. I've tried lots of different mics, lots of condensers, lots of preamps, lots of different, you know, analog gear. At the minute, I have a Neve 1073 preamp, and I have an AKG C12 VR, which is a vintage reissue of the original C12 AKG. I'm still experimenting with gear, but I often find that if you want to get the most out of your voice, it's very much about how you handle yourself behind the microphone and how you treat the space that you're in. But I find that, you know, doing as little to your voice as possible is often the best way of capturing the magic. But like I say, you've got to learn how to be, you know, a performer behind the mic in the studio. It's a very it's very different to a live context.
I can imagine that. You don't have, you know, anywhere from 300 to 6,000 people watching you in the studio.
Yeah, and the thing is as well, is like everyone in Tesseract has we're a DIY band. We've grown from the grassroots upwards, and we've learnt to be our own engineers, our own videographers, our own, you know, our own producers. That's essentially what we do, and we have our own spaces to do that. And that comes with a lot of freedom regarding time constraints, because, you know, if you go into the studio, you're often, you know, you're there for a limited amount of time and you're under pressure to perform, and if you don't capture what you wanted, well, that's it, game over. So for us at home, you know, it's very much, you know, if we feel inspired, we step into the studio, record what we need to, take a break, come back to it, and for me, I think that's just amazing. It's the best way to write for me.
Put it better myself. And so with a close, the last question, and it's the one that I'm actually itching to hear about. What's going on with Tesseract and Sonder for the rest of 2018?
It's going to be a busy year. Yeah, we got we're actually headlining a stage at Download Festival in the UK, which is it's the biggest rock and metal festival. And for a UK band to be doing that is you know, is a little bit of a statement. And for us, we're really happy with that. We've got lots of different festivals. Download Spain, Hellfest, we're playing this year as well. So some pretty big festivals. I can't remember them all off the top of my head.
It's okay.
And we're actually hitting Europe with Between the Buried and Me and Pliny in November. But for the rest of the time, throughout the year, I'm going to be very very in the studio. You know, writing new Tesseract, and new White Moth, Black Butterfly, new
Yeah, I can't wait
new
for that.
Zeta.
I love
stuff, so.
a tone. I have the album on my iPhone. I absolutely love that album.
Good, nice,
So
thank you.
You know, it's no thank you for that. You know, it's just, it blows my mind. But you know, we're here, last day of the tour. They're gonna go on in a few hours. It's 4 o'clock right now. They'll probably go on at 9:30, 10 o'clock. And it's going to be a good night here in Manhattan. And,
Yeah, absolutely.
you know, I want to thank you so much for the time there.
Yeah,
thank you
very
so
much.
much, Dan.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Tompkins of Tesseract. If you have not picked up Sonder, please do so. If you have not picked up Polaris, you're behind schedule. Please pick that up also. Please check out White Moth, Black Butterfly as well. Dan Tompkins.
If you're a singer as well, check out daniel-tompkins.com.
Yes.
There you go.
Check out the YouTube channel. Check everything out. The man is there. He's there to listen. He's there to help. So, on that note, I'll see you all next time. Take care.
Awesome, man.
Great. Go for it.
Hey Marissa, sorry you couldn't be here for the interview. Maybe we'll get to meet at some point soon, but thanks for all the support.